In the previous video, we left in step 19. In today's video, let's start from step 20. That is character centric page design versus action centric page design. Depending on the genre of your manga, whether you are illustrating a fast paced sports battle or a quiet, introspective romance drama, your overall approach to page design must shift to match the emotional needs of the script. That is, the intimate character drama layout. In slice of life, romance, or heavy character dramas, the primary goal is to capture the subtle shifts in human relationships, secrets, and internal emotional growth. 1. Composition. The page design leans heavily on vertical panel layouts and large open spaces. Character figures are often drawn in three-quarter or full body views, surrounded by a lot of white room to emphasize loneliness, distance, or a quiet moment of peace. 2. Backgrounds. Environments are soft, often using delicate gray tones, hand drawn floral textures, or light gradients. Background details fade out entirely during deep conversation, replacing the physical room with abstract tones that reflect the internal mood of the character cell. Next, focus. The emphasis is on micro expressions, a hand nervously twitching against a skirt, a sudden intake of breath, a slight aversion of the eyes. Time moves slowly, giving the reader space to feel the weight of the unspoken words. Backgrounds. Backgrounds are largely replaced by aggressive radiating speed lines or dense smoke effects to accentuate the direction and momentum of the attacks. Perspective lines are highly distorted, using extreme wide angle or fisheye lines perspectives to make the action look larger than life. Next is focus. The emphasis on kinetic motion, heavy impact zones, and rapid cause and effect transitions. Panels are jammed closely together, forcing the reader's eyes to race through the sequence at breakneck speed. Now, let's move on to step 21, optimizing the eye's journey. That is, advanced reading flow. We have already discussed the fundamental rule that manga reads from right to left and top to bottom. However, advanced page design allows you to manipulate this reading path, transforming a simple linear track into a beautifully orchestrated rhythmic dance across the canvas. If you draw a clean, continuous horizontal gutter line straight across the center of your page, completely separating the top half of your layout from the bottom half, you create a massive structural barrier. When the reader's eyes reaches the end of the top right panel row, instead of naturally dropping down to the next panel in a smooth zigzag pattern, their eye will often accidentally scan straight across that continuous center gutter line, skipping entire panels entirely. To prevent this visual confusion, always ensure your vertical and horizontal cutter alternate, staggering your panel corners like bricks in a wall to lock the reader eye securely into the correct path. And for that, using contrast to slow down reading speed is necessary. There will be a moment in your manga where you want the reader to stop racing through the page and slow down to appreciate a highly critical line of dialogue or a shocking visual realization. You can artificially manipulate the reading speed using tone and complexity. 1. To speed up reading, use simple minimalist line art, wide open white panels, large clear text fonts, and spacious layouts. The eyes slide across these panels effortlessly. Next, to slow down reading, introduce highly detailed backgrounds, intricate cross hatching textures, dense black ink blocks, or smaller, tighter dialogue fonts. The human eye requires more time to process high density visual information, forcing the reader to linger on that specific panel, heightening its dramatic weight. Now, let's get into step 22, designing custom screen tones and pattern prevention. While modern digital art software provides thousands of ready to use screen tone patterns, relying entirely on default assets can cause your work to look identical to every other webcomic on the internet. Designing your own custom screen tones gives your manga a completely unique signature texture. Now, let's get into creating your own custom tone maps. You can turn any high resolution texture photo, such as a piece of rough watercolor paper, a distressed concrete wall, a woven fabric swatch, or an organic ink splatter into a beautiful manga screen tone. Import your custom texture photo onto a high resolution 600 dpi canvas. 2. Convert the image to grayscale and maximize the contrast until you have a stark distribution of deep grays, rich blacks, and clean whites. 3. Apply your software's built in screen tone effect, frequently called tone conversion. The program will instantly convert the smooth gray gradients of your photo into a clean pattern of microscopic, crisp black dots or lines. 4. Save this asset into your materials library. You now possess a completely custom organic texture tone that adds a beautiful traditional tactile quality to your digital manga pages. And for this, understanding and preventing the dreaded effect is important. The absolute worst nightmare of any digital comic creator is the moire pattern, pronounced as Mao Ray. A moire pattern is a chaotic, distracting checkerboard like distortion wave that occurs when two dot screen tone layers overlap incorrectly. R. When a high resolution digital tone is poorly scaled down for a web browser or a printer print bed. Now, let's get into step 23, drawing inanimate protagonist, vehicles, weapons, and props. In many manga universes, iconic props, customized vehicles, or unique weapons carry as much personality and narrative importance as the characters who wield them. Think of a mecha pilot's giant robot, a street racer sports car, or a fantasy warrior's enchanted sword. These objects cannot look like generic flat clip art. They must look like functioning, heavy machinery with physical weight and history. And for that, the first point is the internal logic of machinery. When illustrating a mechanical object or a vehicle, you must respect its internal mechanical logic. Even if you are drawing a completely fictional, futuristic sci fi hover bike, the design must look plausible to the human eye. 1. Functionality over fashion. Ask yourself basic mechanical questions. Where is the engine housed? Where does the exhaust vent go? How does the steering mechanism physically connect to the front wheels? Where are the fuel tanks located? By mapping out these logical functions during your initial blue pencil sketch phase, your mechanical designs will look stable, grounded, and structurally sound. Next, the weight of materials. Mechanical objects are built from heavy metals, carbon fibers, or dense plastics. Show this material weight by utilizing perfectly straight, rigid panel lines, crisp structural highlights, and deep cast shadows where heavy components overlap. Use a clean ruler tool to draw these mechanical edges, contrasting sharply against the loose, organic, hand drawn lines of your character cell. Now, let's get into step 24, developing a sustained production schedule, the marathon mindset. Drawing a single beautiful manga page is an incredible artistic achievement. However, creating a complete, cohesive 20-page chapter or a massive 200-page volume requires a profound structural shift in your mindset. Comic creation is not a short sprint, it is an endurance marathon. To finish a large project without experiencing severe creative burnout or physical injury, you must build a highly optimized, sustainable production schedule. The industrial assembly line workflow. Never try to complete your manga pages linearly from start to finish, meaning do not sketch, ink, tone, and text page 1 completely before moving to page 2. This is an incredibly inefficient use of your brain power and muscle memory. Every time you switch tasks from creative storyboarding to mechanical inking to administrative lettering, your brain experiences a minor cognitive drag, slowing down your overall speed. Instead, process your entire chapter in large, continuous assembly line patches. By dictating an entire day or week exclusively to a single task, such as inking, your hand muscles lock into a perfect rhythm. Your speed doubles, and your line quality remains absolutely uniform across the entire chapter. Now, let's get into step 25, caring for your physical tools, that is, the artist's health. We often spend so much time focusing on our digital canvas settings, software shortcuts, and artistic style development that we completely neglect the most important creative tool we possess, our own physical body. Long hours spent hunching over a drawing tablet or a traditional art table puts immense strain on your spine, neck, shoulders, and wrists. To sustain a long life career in illustration and manga creation, design your studio environment with strict ergonomic safety in mind. 1. Tablet elevation. Never place your drawing tablet completely flat on a desk surface. This forces your neck to tilt downward at a severe angle, leading to chronic cervical spine strain, often called text neck. Elevate your tablet using an adjustable stand to a 30 to 45-degree angle, allowing your eyes to look straight ahead at the screen while keeping your spine straight. Next, the 90-degree seating rule. Adjust your studio chair so that your feet rest completely flat on the floor, with your knees bent at a clean 90-degree angle. Your elbows should also rest comfortably at a 90-degree angle on your armrest or desk surface while drawing, preventing your shoulder muscle from locking up with tension. Next, the 20-20-20 rule for eye strain. Staring at a bright digital screen for hours reduces your natural blink rate, leading to severe dry eyes, headaches, and blurred vision. Every 20 minutes, look away from your screen and focus your eyes on an object at least 20 feet away for at least 20 seconds. This simple practice instantly relaxes the internal focusing muscles of your eyes, preventing long term visual fatigue. Now, let's move on to step 26, the power of revision. Why redoing pages is part of growth. There will be inevitably come a day in your creative journey where you look back at the first few pages of your manga series and feel a sudden wave of deep dissatisfaction. Perhaps your anatomy looks slightly awkward, your character designs have shifted, your line art looks shaky, or your layout pacing feels lacking. This is not a failure, it is the ultimate proof of your growth as an artist. Your eyes have simply evolved to see quality thresholds that your hands weren't capable of achieving months ago. Deciding when to redo. When you realize your early work is lacking, you face a major creative crossroads. Do you plow ahead into the future or Do you pause to redo your early pages? If you are preparing to publish your original manga series as a polished physical book or launching a premium subscription page like Patreon to attract dedicated fans, redoing a first page is an incredibly smart, high value strategic decision. Your first 20 to 23 pages act as your storefront window. It is the immediate hook that convinces a casual reader to invest their valuable time and money into your world. Upgrading the character design, such as adjusting a protagonist's wardrobe or hairstyle to perfectly fit a new college setting, and tightening the panel layouts ensures your project makes a jaw dropping professional first impression. Let's get into step 27, cinematic camera work and focal length simulation. As you push your layouts past the standard grid, you must begin thinking like a high budget film cinematographer. A manga panel is not just an arbitrary frame, it is a camera lens that captures your characters from a highly specific distance, angle, and perspective. By manipulating the simulated focal length of your drawn panels, you control the psychological distance between the reader and the narrative. So let's get into the wide angle lens. A wide angle perspective stretches the edges of your panel outward, creating an exaggerated sense of depth and three-dimensional scale. If you draw a character thrusting a sword, throwing a punch, or reaching out their hand toward the reader using a wide angle perspective, the hand or fist physically closest to the panel border will look massive, while the torso and background will rapidly shrink into the distance. This extreme distortion injects a violent, kinetic punch into action scenes. It forces the reader to feel as though they are physically standing directly inside the combat zone, ducking away from the oncoming blow. Next, the telephoto lens. Conversely, a telephoto lens compresses depth, pulling distance backgrounds elements closer to the foreground characters. This eliminates dramatic perspective distortion, flattening the image into an elegant cinematic composition. Telephoto framing is incredibly effective for intense emotional close ups, romantic character standoffs, or suspenseful thriller sequences where two characters are staring at one another across a crowded room. By flattening the space, the environment fades away into a beautifully balanced background pattern, trapping the reader's focus entirely within the tight, claustrophobic emotional bubble of the character's expressions. Now, step 28, designing memorable costume changes and wardrobe evolution. In traditional Western superhero comics, characters wear the exact same uniform for decades to preserve the recognizable brand icon. In contrast, manga embraces fashion as a fluid vehicle for character development. If your characters wear the exact same shirt and pants every day across months of story time, your world will feel stagnant and artificial. As for thinking, wardrobe as a reflection of age and setting. If your story transition from a rigid high school environment into a more independent college setting, your character design must visibly adapt to reflect this newfound maturity. 1. High school design. Characterized by uniform silhouettes, structured blazers, pleated skirts, button down shirts, and standard school bags. The character's individuality must be expressed through small accents, an unbuttoned collar, customized keychains on a bag, or unique sneakers. Next, college or new adult design. This setting allows for a dramatic shift into expressive streetwear layered outfits, and sophisticated casual clothing. You can swap out loose, youthful sportswear for structured denim jackets, oversized trench coats, fitted knit sweaters, or modern accessories like tote bags, custom jewelry, and distinct boots. This visual transformation instantly communicates to the reader that the character has stepped into a new phase of personal responsibility and maturity. Now let's get into the turnaround wardrobe sheet. When designing an updated wardrobe for your protagonist, don't just sketch it from a single flattering front angle. Draw a complete three angle turnaround sheet. 1. Front view. To establish the core layout, layers, zipper placements, and main graphic patterns. 2. Three-quarter view. To see how the fabric naturally drape, wrap, and fold around the three-dimensional curves of the body. Next, back view. Essential for scenes where the camera tracks behind the character as they walk down a street or look out an open window. By cementing these designs from every angle before you begin your 23-page redo, you completely eliminate guesswork during production, keeping your clothing folds crisp and anatomically sound across every panel. Next, step 29. Structural metaphors and visualizing abstract psychological states. Manga possesses a beautiful, poetic ability to illustrate completely abstract internal concepts like heartbreak, betrayal, crushing anxiety, or sudden realization by translating them into literal, surreal visual metaphors directly on the page. The shattering grid. When a character experiences an overwhelming emotional shock or a sudden moment of trauma, you can physically shatter the artwork itself. Instead of drawing a character sitting quietly inside a standard rectangular frame, draw the panel borders cracking, splintering, or breaking apart like shards of glass. The shards can float across the manga page, cutting into other panels or casting deep, scratchy shadows over the character cell. This stylistic device instantly visualizes a broken border. It shows the reader that the character's internal reality has been fractured so deeply that the very structure of the comic book cannot hold it together. Environmental metaphors. You can seamlessly blend abstract emotions into the physical environment to heighten a scene's mood. 1. The weight of guilt. If a character is drowning in intense guilt or depression, you can draw long, dark, abstract shadow ants on thick black ink liquid, slowly creeping up from the bottom of the gutter, wrapping around their ankles and dragging them downward. 2. The spark of inspiration. If a character experiences a sudden wave of hope, romance, or clarity, you can lift them out of their physical environment entirely, floating their figure against an open canvas filled with delicate screen tones, drifting feathers, light themed geometric bursts, or soft star patterns. So let's get into step 30 in my next video. If you have reached this far, thank you so much for watching. If you like this kind of content, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much. Please don't forget to hit the like and share button. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.